Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl, Ashley, the amateur expert, coming to you live today for this episode of Not Talk Tuesday because it is Wednesday, but you catch our drift. We decided to postpone yesterday's show in the while we were waiting, I guess, the verdict of the murder case, the George Floyd murder case. So we decided to postpone and wait until today to do the episode. I am super excited for our guest today. My brother Brandon will be talking to us about where he's been since and all that he's accomplished since the last time he was on the show. He is with us so we can get started. I hope everyone today. Hello, Brandon.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm okay. I am okay. My spirit was a little bit heavy yesterday, so I'm slowly coming out of that, but blessed to still be here and to be talking to you.
Like I'm happy to be here talking to you too.
So you were our second guest,
Yeah,
and you have accomplished so much since the last time you were with us. So I would love if you could please introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you are doing currently for work.
I'm Brandon Jhon. I'm a producer, songwriter based in Brooklyn, New York. Actually, home in New Haven, Connecticut right now.
Hey.
I am a producer, songwriter. I've done production for different independent artists, especially based out of New York, but definitely also have worked with different brands like Comcast, MTV, Ulta Beauty, just to name a couple that I've been blessed to have worked on some of the campaigns for them.
Just to name a few, no big deal. I love that. And so one of the things that I admire about you, and you were one of the few guests that um is still sort of who had a passion for what they wanted to do and had a sort of a clear idea of what they wanted to do when they were younger and sort of had, you made the progression along your career and just like sort of life to fulfill what you're doing, which I think is incredibly well. I'm jealous because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. But if you could briefly just tell us, what did you think you wanted to be when you were younger, and why?
So, if I'll tell a quick story. When I was 5 years old, my school started at 9 a.m., but my parents had to be at work at 8. So I had to be out dropped off to my aunt's house around 7:30 before school. And while she got, my cousin ready, she used to put on the TV. And
Hey,
most
your voice is coming in and out
my voice is going in and out.
just a little bit. Do you have headphones that maybe you could use that might help?
Is that better?
Is it just choppy for me or is it for everybody? Hey, everyone who just joined us. Let's
Am I
let's
still
keep going. We'll see.
all right? So yeah, I was dropped off at my aunt's house in the morning before school, and she used to put on Michael Jackson concerts. I don't know why she did that. She just did. And I used to watch them, and I was like, oh, I used to see people passing out and just, passing out from watching Michael Jackson. I'm like, yo, I want to do that. So fast forward a little bit, maybe weeks, maybe months, I'm not sure on that timeline. I was given my first solo in the kids choir at church. And not knowing anything about music, I opened my mouth to sing, and literally at that moment, the whole church stood up. And I was like, oh, I can do this. So at 5 years old, I knew that music was my calling, what I wanted to do, and from there on, I just went on a journey of exploring music. And fast forward, I'm here now. So it was something that was introduced to me at a very young age, and not knowing it any better, I just wanted to do it. I didn't have anybody in my family who was a musician. Everybody in my family
Mhm.
are athletes,
Mhm.
but I kind of just said "F it" and and jumped in.
I love that. And not only did you jump in, you literally were strategic about becoming successful in the music industry from a young age because it was such a burning desire in you. Can you give us just a little bit of the journey, some of the steps that you took, and maybe, you know, yeah, let's start there. Some steps that you took to ensure or to prepare you for this job or this career that you wanted to have.
So as a kid, my parents were put me in different, one of the children, being in the kids choir and being in church helped a lot. Being around, I used to hang around the musicians and just chilling in the musicians corner, just picking up on things and just being curious. So that was the first thing and the first step that kind of led me onto my journey of, learning music. My parents put me at 5 years old, put me in piano lessons, which I later quit. But then I also went to saxophone lessons. I started playing drums in church. Um, so really just surrounding myself with different musicians and putting people that I would just went towards what I was attracted to. Later on when I got to in the middle school and high school, I went into this program called City Kids, which was
Hmm.
I would say an after school program, but also extended. Also, we did a lot of our work on the weekends too.
Right.
So I used to where it was a program that allowed kids to write their own music, perform their own music, sing, dance, and act. And there's kind of where I started to get introduced to like studio and creating music at that point in time, and was able to like record my first song, which I recorded a song. I wrote a song, recorded a song for my cousin's wedding because he was getting married, and that's when I fell in love with like, oh, this is where I want to be. I want to be able to create the music. I love performing, but being in the studio and recording is nothing. There's nothing like it.
I love that. And so now that you have amassed such success, um, what advice would you give to somebody who is just starting out and, they can't see, like they see where they want to get to, but they can't sort of carve their path or make it make sense for them?
So this is one thing I actually know I've shared with some of my mentees, and I share with a lot of people, and this can be used in any industry. I said, as people, and we are creators, right? So may not know how to get to the end of the journey, but we always have the next step, whether that's a large step or it's a small step. But usually it's a small step, but we always know that one small step to take. And your job is to only take that one small step and not
Mhm.
worry about step two or step three or step four, because you can't get to step four until you take step one. So
Right.
even if it's just step one is just opening up a book and reading, or something very simple, always take that next step. And as long as you take that next step, it will always lead you to where you want to go.
I love that. What is something that you have learned or you're maybe still in the process of learning that you wish you would have learned sooner?
Um, Business credit, understanding business credit when it comes to whatever industry, especially as an entrepreneur, understanding business credit and understanding credit and what the difference between bad debt and good debt.
Mm,
And good debt is really comes with in the play of business credit, where you're able to leverage somebody else's money to build money for yourself. And that's kind of something that I wish I learned years ago, because a lot of times what holds, especially in the black community, which holds us as entrepreneurs down, is that we don't have the capital to do some of the things that we want to do, and
right.
we don't have access to the knowledge of grants and the access to the knowledge of how you can use business credit and build business credit faster than you can build your own personal credit. And
For sure.
you're also rewarded by using these tools in the business world. So that's kind of one thing that I think as a young person or anybody, that is very major to jump on early on, and understanding that, because that business credit can really build your wealth a lot faster than using your own money.
Yeah, that's great. So I actually just binged this show on Discovery Plus called Undercover Billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the concept of the show is that they take these well-known billionaires and they take them out of their comfort zone. They give them $100, a used car, and they put them in an unfamiliar city, right? And they say, if you, since you believe that this American dream is attainable for everyone, show us how to do it, right? And so it shows the journey of these three. This past episode shows the journey of three billionaires and how they flipped that $100, how they had to survive, whether they slept in their car or whether they, leveraged their relationships or created relationships and then were able to leverage them. And one of the things that I saw that they did was, being able to sell their story in a way to gain trust,
Mm,
to then get people to invest in their businesses or their companies, or just even just to give them an advance so that they could have a place to stay. So I think that's so important, to learn. Yes, business credit, but a part of that I think is relationships and being around people, and
yeah.
having the business sense. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, what are some other tips or motivators that you've personally used, along your journey?
I think you just kind of said it with the story. I get the real importance of a story, because that's what makes you human. That's how what connects you to everybody. And by creating the stories, you can use your stories, by content creating, like, and by getting loans and things. You use your story to help you get these things. So if when people connect to your story and they can see themselves in you, they're more willing to invest in you. Um,
Hmm.
so I think you just said it. Story is a big one. It's something that I just learned in the last 6 months that is very important.
That's dope. And that's literally where this came from, right? And so I feel like, or the concept of this show that we're doing now is that I personally feel that when you share your story, you inspire other people. And I'm incredibly
Yeah.
inspired by the people I've interviewed, but also you, because I've seen you make pivots. I've seen you, humbly um, uh, gain this traction and perfect your craft. And I think it's so beautiful to be able to see, as your friend. I want to know from you, sort of, um, what is it like, or how do you decide on how you're going to align with a brand? um Hi, Creed. Align yourself with a brand or take a role, like, um do you feel like you're chasing your purpose? You feel like you're chasing passion? Do you feel like you're chasing paper? Like, how do you decide, the next gig or the next project?
I think that's continually because through time is continuously to change. Um, Now the first step is, do I like it? Like, am I going to enjoy this? You're right. I'm not. I think now is like at a point in time, like, am I going to enjoy it? Am I going to enjoy being a part of this? And if not, then I'm really going to step away regardless of what the money looks like, because if I'm not going to have fun in it, I'm not really going to enjoy the process of creating it, and then I'm not going to put my all in it. So is it going to be
Mhm.
really worth it? Is it worth it? It comes to the question of whether is it worth the money or worth my time. Um, so those two things are probably the most important on the top of that list. Does it work financially? Does it work, and more importantly, does it worth my time? Let me see what else when it comes to line of brand. Yeah, it's. I think also, like, I'm not investing my time in the brand. I'm more so me personally investing my time in the person
Mm.
who's associated with the brand and whom I'm working with. So I think that plays a major part of it. I mean, I may not like the brand, but if I like the person I'm working with when it comes to the brand, then you know, I think I'll be happy in the creation process. So I think people are more important than the brand itself, even though I'm working for brands.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. One of the things that I hear a lot in the industry, and I'm, just sort of dipping my toe in it, is that you have to pay your dues, right? And
Mhm.
so, I wonder, when did you develop that mindset, right? Was that, I know you said it's something that is evolving, right? Or you have evolved to this place. Um, you know, and I think I connect that to maybe paying dues, or just maturity in your work. But what are your thoughts on those that say you must pay your dues?
Yes, you actually must pay your dues, and there's two ways this can happen. You can be forced to pay your dues, or you can decide to pay your dues for yourself. Um, and like the universe will give you signs when you need to start paying dues, when you start to need to make changes, when you start to need to start investing in yourself, whether that's through workshops to learn new things. But if you don't see those signs, then you will go through a life situation that's going to force you to see those signs, and then you get to make a change at the time. And if you don't make the change, it's just going to continue to get harder. And making that change and making that pivot is at that point in time is your choice. So yes, everybody's going to pay dues at some point in time. It's just the question is, are you going to implement that time to pay those dues, or it's going to hit you? You going to get punched in the face. Those are the two options. And as I've been punched in the face before, I've learned to now choose to I'm going to take this. I'm going to go find this workshop and go find this thing and go find this book to read before it becomes a major problem in my life. So that it,
Mm,
so I don't get punched in the face.
that's so good. I mean, that's an aggressive analogy, but
Yeah.
but I do receive what you're saying. I think as I personally am, experiencing um, just trying to one decide what it is I want to do, but also starting, as a newbie, right? So I started and I worked my way up the ranks in the hospitality industry, and then I did the same in procurement, and now I'm trying to, take those skill sets and bring it into the entertainment industry. And so, the paying of the dues is quite humbling. And I don't know that I've been quite punched in the face. Maybe a quick love tap, but it definitely does humble you. So I appreciate what you shared, and I think it's important to bounce back quickly.
Mhm.
Um, do you want to share a story where you were maybe uh, or maybe what's one of the greatest lessons you've learned from an experience like that?
From an experience like that, from being punched in the face or deciding to take the first step. Let's talk about something. Decide to take the first step before getting punched in the face. Um,
Okay.
moving to New York was a big one, right, for me. Um, and I moved to New York literally without a plan, without a job. My friends say, "Yo, come sleep on the couch." But like, let's go back to the steps, right? For 6 months prior to doing that, I knew that the next step I needed to take was to move to New York. And what stopped me from
Hmm.
why it took 6 months was because I was stuck on how it looked. I was stuck on that I had an apartment that
Hmm.
was in a certain area that was big enough to fit my studio equipment and all that. And that holding on to that vision kept me from moving. But when I just let go of what that actually looked like and just actually made the step of moving to New York, things started to open up immediately. Within a month, I had a bed to sleep in. I had a job, and I was set up in New York, for success. And instead of like being forced to go out there or being forced to move out or being forced to be out of Connecticut or whatever that is, I decided to take that leap of faith without anything happening. And since I moved to New York, my life has changed tremendously, and I've been blessed beyond anything I could ever imagine when it has come to my career in music and personally as well. So that was one of the biggest, I think, risks I took that I was I decided to take that. I decided to move forward before, you know, life just took me there.
I think that's so dope. I wish my experience was similar in regards to couch time, but 1 month, 6 months, we all have to do our time or can do our time on the couch. But I do think that the couch period is one that, it prepares you, right, for for everything. I think it makes you hungry, it keeps you determined, it keeps you focused. Um, Man, I'm always excited to talk to you because I always feel a little uplifted, more inspired after speaking to you. And one of the stories that you shared last time was about the dude that moved to Hawaii.
To Mexico, moved.
Oh, he moved to the
I,
beach.
yeah, moved to the beach. Yeah, to Mexico. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can
but
you share that story with us?
all right. So I think it was maybe I don't know when it was. I was in Mexico and there's this white dude with this big old beard playing guitar on the beach and had a bucket of Corona sitting in front of him. So for some reason I just went up and started talking to him. He went on break.
Wait, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Wait, hold on.
Am I still? Am I back?
Can everyone hear Brandon clearly?
Can you hear me clearly?
It's choppy for me. I don't know if it's for everybody else. Let us know. Let us know. Mm, yes, they can hear you. Or yes, choppy. Uh-oh. I don't know what the yes is for or the no's. Cracking up a little bit. Okay. So it is a little choppy, but maybe we can start over and it'll be okay. We think it's a connection issue. Hmm.
For that.
No, you're still breaking up for me.
I'm still breaking up?
So
Jeez.
you look clear. Let's try. Or we may have to kick you out and bring you back in.
Gonna kick me out and bring me back in? Oh, nah, they hear me. I think it's good now. All right, cool. So, yeah, I went to Mexico one summer, and there was this, this big white dude playing guitar with this big old beard on the beach with a bucket of Coronas in front of him. And he went out break, and I decided to have a conversation with him at the bar. And he asked me where I was from, and I think, I would say I'm from, the States, and he's from New York. He's like, yeah, I moved out here. I was like, for real? How? Like, why? He's like, well, I've done I've done music all my life and I've done touring, but like I looked at it and said, what is the ultimate goal? Why do I want to be so successful in music? And it finally got down to the thing where, because I want to retire and live on a beach and play music for the rest of my life. So instead of, waiting to be successful in this job just so he could have this thing, he decided just to get the thing. He decided to move to Mexico and to start playing music on the beach because he had saved up enough money to be able to do that. So I thought that story is quite interesting. I'm like, wait, why? It's kind of like, why do we all are doing these things to be happy, right?
Hmm.
Or why not just be happy? Why not just choose happiness and then let those things come in the order that they should come in, right? So that's
Sure.
kind of what I got from that story, and it's always that story has always stuck with me, and especially the decisions that I make. I try not to wait for something to happen in order to have something else. I just believe that I can have something else, and usually I get that something else
I
without
love
having
that.
this road.
I love that. I love that.
And let me clarify this also. Not choose happy, choose joy. Happiness
Mm,
depends on happiness depends on happiness depends on what happens, what other people can happen, what can happen. Joy is something that you just create for yourself, right? Joy comes from within. Happiness comes from other people. So choose joy.
I love that. Far too often, I think we delay gratification for um, everything. And I think about that story often. I do. I think about it often, and I'm like, man, what am I doing? Or like, what am I trying to do, right? Because what is the end game and how can I get there? How can I get there? Like I said, Brandon, I love talking to you. You inspire me tremendously, and I'm incredibly excited about what you have coming up next.
Right?
I want to give you a chance to plug yourself. What projects? How can we support you? I saw Mark just join the live, so you guys got some music out. Just let us know. Let us know how we can support you.
Yes. So there's some artists that I have worked with who are probably in this live too. So check out Mark Ferg and his music. I seen Saki in here. Saki's in here. I'm working. I just released a song with Saki. Apartment. What's the number? What's the apartment number, Saki? I'm messing up. But you can check it out. It's on my Instagram feed with Saki featuring Eric Penn. I got a dope project coming out with Eric Penn coming out soon, and one with Saki as well. All this you can check out and find out on my Instagram. Yes, Apartment 706. My bad. So yeah, check out Apartment 706 streaming everywhere by Saki and featuring Eric Penn. I produced that record. Me and Saki got a dope project coming out very very soon. Um, I have a Comcast ad out that's circulating the world somewhere. I actually haven't seen it yet, but it's out here somewhere. They told me it's out. So as soon as I find it and I have access to it, I'm gonna post that.
Love that.
What else? Yeah, and working with a different couple of different female artists out of New York too as well, which should be coming out hopefully this summer. But you can follow me on Instagram if you're not following me already at I am Brandon Jhon. Also, you can check out my website www.brandonjhon.com. And that gives you a lot of access to all my music that I have produced and written and different things like that. And keep you updated with future things coming out too.
Sorry for the silence. I was concentrating on the spelling of
Oh,
John. Didn't want to mess that up. All right, well, actually, we'll pin yours so that people can see who to follow. This has been amazing, Brandon. I am the amateur expert, and I know a little bit about a lot. And although you have taught me a lot of new things today, I gotta ask you one more thing. Please hit me with a random fact, a tidbit, your favorite quote, something that I can say. Brandon taught me this.
everything in your life happens at the right time in the right place for your highest good.
Amen.
All
That's
right,
it, y'all.
that's
Drop
it.
the
Thank
drop drop the mic. Y'all follow Brandon. He's incredibly talented, super deep, and just a good guy. So follow him, support him, and the artists that he's working with. Brandon, always a pleasure.
thank you, thank
Over and
you.
out. Oh, someone says say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Everything in your life happens at the right time in the right place for your highest good.
Amen. Y'all have a blessed Wednesday. Be good.
Later, y'all.